Let's make a fairy house for my moon garden. I have a new hyperfixation. Oh my God. I had so much fun making this little fairy house. I was up until 3 a.m. last night. It was 4:20 all night long. I started with an air dry clay, and I just grabbed an old mason jar from my pantry, and I cut out as much clay as I needed just to cover the outside of the jar. I think I saw this on Pinterest. This guy had made these, and he made a whole little dome of fairy houses. And I thought immediately I need those for my moon garden, my fairy garden fixation. I try to use just things that I have on hand, and I happen to have all of the things that I'm using in this video on hand. And I love using clay because it feels really good on my hands. I have arthritis. Both of my thumbs really bother me. So working with clay feels so nice on my hands. So I just continued to wrap the clay around the jar and kind of cut it where I wanted it to be. And this is where the fun part happens. I got these fairy houses and things from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to remove the clay from the jar so I can put that house on the jar, and then kind of I'll be able to mold around the door so that it'll stay on. I'm using some extra clay to do that. So I have my clay tools on hand. I keep some water on hand to keep the clay moist. And then I'm just going to marry the clay from the jar to the clay behind the little ceramic piece. I think it's a resin piece. It's not super heavy, but I want to make sure that that's secure. And then I grabbed some stones that I had. Again, I already had these on hand. And I kind of wet the clay again and manipulated the clay, pushed it around the rock so it would kind of mortar in. I ended up going back after it dried a little bit and added some extra clay because those little rocks kept falling off. But I had so much fun. I put on Speed by with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. Throwback, it's on Netflix. So again, I don't even know what time it was. I was just having so much fun. And so then I just wipe off the extra clay off the stones and clean it all up with my rag. Okay, this is my first real long form content for YouTube that I've made specifically for YouTube. So I hope I'm doing okay. I'm learning. I'm learning to make social media content, and hopefully it will support my retirement. I'm 53. I love to craft. And I've had this hyperfixation with fairy houses for the past year. And this was my date night. On a Saturday night. I had so much fun. This was an old ashtray that I found at a yard sale. I had painted it for my daughter, and she gave it back to me. So I thought, make a little roof out of that with the air dry clay. So I flattened another piece out and laid it, cut it into a circle, traced it out, and then laid it over top of the dish. It could be a candy dish. Maybe it's not an ashtray, whatever. Yeah, I'm a really messy crafter. I'm very feral. So if you're OCD and you like very neat content, this is not the page for you. I'm sorry. I don't apologize. Don't apologize. I'm going to say thank you for your patience and thank you for accepting me for me. So this is not curated content over here. This is just me, date night on a Saturday night, making a fucking fairy house. It was fun as hell. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Anyway, I thought this turned out really cute. Has the impression of the candy dish or ashtray or whatever the heck. And then I wanted to poke out some holes so that when I put the solar lights in it later, or my little votive candle, that it'll have a way to kind of escape the top. So that's that. After it air dried, And we'll see how it looks on top of the jar, the little fairy house. How cute. And so now I just need to paint up. Again, I don't show up perfect. I try to show up. And that's my best advice as far as trying to be a digital creator on social media. You just got to show up and do content that brings me joy. This brought me so much joy. I had so much fun painting, kind of doing a whitewash of the paint with some water and just brushing that on. Oopsie, some of the stones were coming off, which is, it's fine. It's whatever. I think it makes it look lived in. But again, I loved how this color wash made it kind of just have so much depth and it came alive. Isn't that cute? So now I'm wiping off the extra paint. So it just looks, again, just looks a little lived in. I think it looks so cute. This is a super easy craft. Again, I spent nothing on this. I just had a fun Saturday night, little solo date. And I got to watch young Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. I mean, that was such a good movie. So this is, I'm going to use some gold leaf. This is the prep that you do for that. It's like, what is it? I don't even know. It's the adhesive. It's the prep for the metallic. I just, again, if you're OCD, look away. Look away. I promise I cleaned up my mess. So I just brushed that on onto the air-dried clay. And then you let it get tacky for about 10 minutes. And then you just lay the gold leaf on. And I used a makeup brush, was probably a mistake. And then my phone died and I couldn't get the rest of this on film. So this is what it turned out like. So freaking cute. And I got some accessories that I also, there's the lid, which I don't know if that's going to work out. I did spray everything with sealer protective. This is the next day. Again, these accessories are from the Dollar Tree. I'm putting it right around my gutter where I have a little river created. I'm so excited. I have another one that I'm already working on. And then, of course, I'm going to put my votive on the inside of it. And then I'll have to come back tonight and let you see it in the dark. But I think it turned out so cute. And I cannot wait to have a whole village of little fairy houses in time for fall. That's going to make me so happy this winter. Oh, my dog wants inside. Anyway, I'll come back in just a few so you can see it at night.